Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome to the first double unboxing in what seems like ages. Not only that, it's the first Jomashop double unboxing, and even longer, I think this is the first Jomashop video that I have made all year long. That is how long it's been. I thought it was therefore appropriate to go back to basics. A couple of watches costing less than $300 US, one by Mathey-Tissot and one by Orient. Now, I looked at my first ever Mathey-Tissot on the channel earlier this year, so I thought I would have a look at another. Not an original design, but you can't argue with the movement for the price. And the Orient is a watch that was very much the belle of YouTube in about 2016. I don't know why I didn't review it then, but I'm happy to finally get my hands on one today. You saw the pop-up. I already told you this video is sponsored by Jomashop. They sent me these watches. I do not have to send them back. All they ever ask is that if you're keen on one of these or anything else horological, I direct you to their website, which I will do by leaving a couple of links in the description of the video. The Mathey-Tissot is in stock at $299 US. The Orient is also in stock at $269 US. Even if you don't buy from Jomashop, I always highly recommend using them as a bit of a price guide, as a reference point, because their prices are usually the sharpest you'll find. They are a grey market dealer though. That means they cover the warranties themselves, so do bear that in mind if you're thinking about making a purchase. Let's flip the camera and peel off some stickers. Never pay retail. If that wasn't already Jomashop's tagline, it should be my tagline and your tagline, because honestly, why would you pay retail for watches? Unless, of course, you're buying a Rolex or a Patek Philippe at retail. Certainly not a Mathey-Tissot or an Orient. Let's see how big the boxes within the boxes are. Do you know what? I figured already which way around I'm going to be opening these two today. I have waited 5 years to open the Orient. I can wait another 5 minutes to open the Orient. That means I'm going to go for the Mathey-Tissot first, the one in the big box advertising very clearly up front that it is Swiss made. Now that is actually quite a lot of box for a watch at $299, big Swiss made on the front as discussed. Perhaps a couple of red flags there from the very beginning. I did have a pretty fixed opinion of Mathey-Tissot before I looked at that one mid-year. I just got this one in to confirm whether or not I had perhaps been right all along. Like I said, not original. Definitely a more Rolex Submariner than anything else. A Rolex GMT, judging by that bezel. But it's only got 3 hands. What's going on there? Anyway, warranty certificate, as discussed though, Jomashop warrant them themselves. So if it's a 1 year, you'll get a 1 year Jomashop warranty. If it's a 2 year, you'll get a 2 year Jomashop warranty. And there we go, it's another Rolex alike. To be honest though, it has been ages, if not years, since I looked at a Rolex alike on the channel. I guess I had kind of done these to death in the early days of the channel, and I didn't really see much point in looking at them all that regularly. Again, Sellita SW200 in the back of this though, $299 Swiss made Sellita 200, definitely worth a look. Let's peel off the stickers and look more closely. Alright, the money shot, the final sticker, the dial protector. Ooh, always satisfying no matter what the watch in question. Alright then, well, movement's working. Sellita 200s are pretty reliable out the box anyway. Yeah, I can't say this one is offering up a lot of surprises so far. They've etched 1886. I guess Mathey-Tissot can trace their heritage back to 1886. We do have a milled scissor clasp with some micro adjustments. Yeah, kind of standard 3-link oyster, GMT Master 2 style high polish center links, and that aluminium bezel insert with GMT markings on a 3-hander. Okay, let's get this one sized, get it set. Alright, we're back, we're sized, we're set, and we're still trying to work out what's going on with the bezel insert. Why do we have a 24-hour GMT bezel on a 3-hander? Look, I've never said this early in an unboxing before. Don't buy this watch. Sorry, Jomashop, thanks for sending it in. Don't buy this watch. I picked this one in error. I erred. It's not very good. Not only is that just wrong, fundamentally wrong, there are some of these that have dive style bezels, but you know, I wouldn't necessarily steer you towards one of those either. Oh, that bezel action is inconsistent, very difficult at places, easy at other places. Oh, it's not good. And the crown action is also not good. It's fiddly and annoying to put back in. Yeah, $300. Buy another Submariner homage, buy an Invicta for $75 and save your money. Don't buy this watch. Well, you know it's here now, so we may as well do dimensions and specifications. It's a Rolex Submariner homage. It's a 5-digit Rolex Submariner homage, which means 40mm in diameter, 13.2mm thick, with a 47mm lug tip to lug tip, 20mm between the lugs, tapering down to 18, back up to 20 at the clasp. Sized up for me, 7-inch wrist, 143 grams. 100 meters of water resistance. Jomashop actually says 50, but it has 100 meters from a screw down crown. That is a piece of rather unusual domed sapphire coated mineral crystal. I cannot remember the last time I saw a Cyclops on a piece of domed mineral crystal, but there you go. And the movement, definitely the star of the show today, the highlight of the show, is a Sellita SW200. And there it is. A moment's silence for the Sellita 200. But it is not. That is not a Sellita SW200. Look at the decoration. That is far too fancy for a base grade Sellita 200. You'd be looking at a top grade to get that much decoration. And if I move the rotor over just for a second, if we invert this one, you'll be able to see that says Landeron 24. Yeah, they've got a couple of things wrong in the listing. I will send an email to my contact there. This is a Landeron 24 and not a Sellita 200. In fact, here's a little bit of extra macro footage so you can see what I was talking about. Perhaps it wasn't obvious earlier on. It's pretty obvious now. It is Swiss made, but it's a Landeron 24. It's not a Sellita SW200. I mean, it's another clone of the ETA 2824. So it's a one-for-one drop-in replacement, but that doesn't mean to say it's quite the same thing. I think I've come across one of these before in an isotope watch much earlier on this year. According to Caliber Corner, it has 25 joules and a 40-hour power reserve. Sounds very similar to the ETA 2824, does it not? Yeah, okay. Look, the movement may be fine. It's nicely decorated, looks fancier than a Sellita, but you know, don't buy this watch until they sort their listing out at bare minimum. That's it on wrist. It has been a while since I tried one of these classic old 5-digit homages on. There is a reason why I have long maintained they are a rite of passage for all collectors though, because they're such versatile all-rounders. This is going to fit so many different wrist shapes and sizes. Classic 40-20 proportions, but yeah, probably not this one. I'm sure Jomashop sell plenty more. Maybe you can look for another one there instead. Well, that was awkward. Let's move on to the Orient instead, a long overdue date with this Sun Moon. Yeah, this one you get an awful lot of complications for not an awful lot of money. The general rule of thumb with watches, mechanical watches anyway, are the more complications you find on the dial, the more you are paying for those complications. Not so in this case, $269, and look at that thing. Couple of stickers for us to peel here. It looks like they've gone for a Seiko style back to front deployment. I know people like these, they do kind of make sense, but they just feel awkward if you have been wearing bracelets, rubber straps, leather straps, whatever, the other way, and you're used to clipping them and unclipping them in one particular direction, and then somebody tells you to do it the other way around. It's a little bit unusual. All right, one on the case back. Let's peel that off. Yeah, Orient in-house caliber, heaps of complications, under $300. Why did I take so long to review this watch? Complications, you say, Jody? How many complications? Well, have a look at it for a start. Date of the month, day of the week, and a sun moon indicator, so a 12-24 hour indicator there. If I pull the crown out to the first position, roll this one way, the date moves, roll it the other way, the day of the week moves, and if I pull to the second position, the movement hacks, which is very nice. Roll that forward and you can see the sun moon 24-hour indicator rolling over there as well. That is quite a lot of complications for your $270. It is pretty big and chunky though, 42mm in diameter, 14mm thick with a 50mm lug to lug. So have a think about whether this one is going to actually wear the way that you like your watches to wear or not. Lug width, 21mm. Yeah, thanks Orient, it's the same as that awkward Bambino lug width of old. 50 meters of water resistance from a push-pull crown. That is genuine sapphire this time, and the movement is an Orient in-house F62B. And I can breathe a sigh of relief this time because it actually is an Orient F6B24 in the back. It even says so. Epson Corporation, 22 jewel hacking and hand winding. Japanese automatic through a very small display case back. Like I said, a big watch, 42, but yeah, a little movement relatively speaking in the middle there. Alright, I've switched to the macro lens. We'll have a quick look at this one before I get it on wrist. Now, Roman numerals always marks a piece out as a kind of more traditional, slightly old-fashioned style. That is confirmed by the leaf, hour and minute hand, and that kind of Breguet style porthole second hand there as well. Nice dial though, you can tell where some of that depth has gone. Look at how recessed the date complication is. That's like several millimeters deep. Yeah, 14mm, that's where it comes from. But there's plenty of nice details. There's little cabochons, silver applied on the hour markers in a recessed minute track beyond the Roman numerals. We have an embossed Orient logo there, some decoration on the Sun Moon indicator. Let me see what the moon looks like. Does it have a little bit more decoration on itself? It does indeed. Yeah, very nice indeed. Couple of screws holding that sub-dial in, and the screws are in good shape. There's some radial grooves on that sub-register showing the day of the week. There's some concentric circles where the days of the week are actually printed, and a little bit of mild sunburst effect all the way around on the main flat surface of the dial. That is quite a lot going on. It's not Seiko standard of glitz and glamour, but it is all crisp and neatly done. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I can see why this one was popular a few years ago. You do get quite a lot of watch for your money. And that is also reflected by a fairly substantial on-wrist presence, 42, but 14mm thick. That is like 300-meter dive watch thick, plus a 50 lug tip to lug tip. The lugs do point down at the ends, you can see there, but this strap is stiff. It reminds me of the old Orient Bambino straps. It's not a one-for-one because the Orient Bambino doesn't have this deployant, and yet it was meant to be worn upside down because the logo points in that direction. If I invert it, then the logo will be the wrong way up. But if I was running this one long term, I would definitely invert it. So what do you think? Has the Orient Sun Moon had its day? Is this too big, too bulky for our taste now in 2023? There definitely has been a shift towards smaller watches, maybe a 42, 1450 with that look is perhaps reflective of another era. I can understand, as I said, why they were so popular though, because you get plenty of punch for your cash, sapphire crystal, in-house Orient automatic and all those complications. Maybe a little too big and bulky for me personally, but hey, if you've got a slightly larger wrist than my 7-inch wrist, it'll probably fit you nicely. So I think I'll leave it here. Definitely one of the more interesting double unboxings of recent times. You will be seeing the Orient again. You will not be seeing the Mathey-Tissot again. Look, I'm not necessarily criticizing that Landeron 24. It's a very pretty movement to look at, as I'm sure you will agree. Certainly prettier than the Sellita, but it isn't the Sellita I thought I was getting. But what did I think I was getting when I asked for one of the watches with a 24-hour bezel and only 3 hands? Anyway, I've said enough. Let's leave it there. Thanks very much for making it all the way to the bitter end, and the end was just a little bit bitter today. If you like this double unboxing style, why not click here or here, and I'll see you in the next one.